place. Donc Loïc, tu as voté Obama? Oui. C'est bien.
Whoops, that's from yesterday, huh?
Mais vous n'avez pas voté? Je ne votais pas, mais j'étais pour Obama. Je savais qu'il allait gagner. Mais il a écrasé l'autre. Hein. Ah oui? Complètement. Complètement. They don't even see this because what happens is all these different waves of people that come in to do this forest are just workers. So when there's finally a road that comes in here where a guy that's a forester who's got a Toyota reaches this spot, that whole system's already disintegrated because not only do they cut all the trees, they hunt every animal, every wave of people that comes through hunt. So for instance, in an area like this, if you've got a chimpanzee population, they have their territory. And it's very well defined. They have sentinels that patrol the border of this territory. And if they catch anybody in there, any other chimpanzee, they raise hell. They go to war with them. But if you stay out of my territory, I won't bug you. And they're often along rivers. I mean, these guys literally know the exact border of their land. Like a community, it's like humans. And so, can you imagine, you know, here you are and you've got your chimpanzee territory, and your territory's been there for a long time, and there's, you know, the super alpha male and the alpha female and the grandmothers and the kids and everybody in that community knows everybody else in that community. Everybody. Because you've grown up. It's your neighborhood. And so all of a sudden you got 100 guys that show up in the forest and start cordoning it off like that, and just about every single one of them has a shotgun. And so all of a sudden you're living this peaceful life in your community, and all of a sudden you are under siege. It's like all of a sudden the Red Army shows up in your neighborhoods and starts shooting everybody. And what do people do? They run, you know. And that's the same thing chimpanzees do. They just run. And everybody, and so all social order completely breaks down. And so when you start looking at a forest and what happens to it when it gets logged, I mean, if you fly over it, you look at it, they say, oh, it's still a forest. It's no big deal, man. We only take out 1 tree per hectare, and you know, and we do this and we do. But the whole system unravels. That's the bottom line. The entire system unravels. So what happens over time is, like in the redwoods, where I just did this study, you get so far beyond what was in a century that no one has any idea what it was like. You can't even fathom what it was like because it's all gone. All that interconnectivity evaporates, you know. So that's why it's important to have places like this that are big enough and haven't been completely destroyed once yet, because then you can actually see it and you can figure it out, and you might be able to kind of replicate it if you ever get the chance to you know, get the ecological order back online on the planet.
Is this place protected for all times to the best of your knowledge, or is it a limited time, or is it...
You mean into the future?
In the future.
Yeah, it's a national park.
Yeah, okay, but I mean to the best of
well,
your knowledge. Can
that's
mankind change their mind all of a sudden?
Yeah,
Sure.
Yeah, all laws, they can just vote them out just as easily as they vote them in.
The logging company that you're working with, I think it's in Congo,
Yeah.
the border, can they log differently so they're not destroying all this? Or is it
They
logging?
could.
Yeah, no, could they, so that
Oh, they absolutely could,
without destroying the whole?
but they don't.
They don't.
And I've never met a logging company that that if they were doing it this way in this forest and they're completely taking all the gold out of it to voluntarily give up 20% of the gold,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
they'll stop hunting because that's not part of their bottom line. But they won't stop cutting the duca trees unless you tell them, sorry, you can't do that anymore.
How do they get a concession? How do they get to do this? I mean,
The government
Mm-hmm.
and they get the income, you know.
Just like us, we have the same in Montana.
It's a contract.
You can have totally empty mountains.
So the only way is.
Yeah, all the
really
concessions that are going in the western United States right now is the same way.
From the government.
Department of the Interior doles them out. The Bureau of Land Management, the Forest Service.
Is it for money? They do it for money?
Yeah, they do it for
You
money.
bet. Big money.
Yeah. That's how they tried to blackmail a lot of communities in Forest Service land now. They're like, oh, well, your actual, school budget is coming out of Forest Service land. So if you guys are opposed to logging here, sorry, your local funds are going to dry up. And it's caused a lot of problems. But anyway, we're going to head into the woods here.
What
So,
else?